Well, howdy there, Internet people. It's Bo again. So today we are going to talk about the state of the U.S. economy. Kind of. That's how it's going to be viewed. We are going to talk about the change that has occurred, and we are going to talk about why that change occurred. Because there is a high likelihood that people are going to assume it's one thing when it's not. And the people who determine the, I don't know, for lack of a better word, the credit worthiness of the United States, they've said what it is. But politicians are going to try to tell you that it's something else. Okay, so if you missed the news, Moodys has said that the outlook for the U.S., well, it has gone negative. Well, that means the economy's in a bad place, right? No. In fact, they said that they expected the U.S. to retain its exceptional economic strength. It's not about that. It's not about the actual economy or the economic strength. They cited continued polarization in the U.S. Congress. They're not worried about the ability of the U.S. to pay its bills. They're worried about the willingness of people in Congress to do it. The party of fiscal responsibility is ruining the country's credit because they can't get their act together. It's really what it boils down to. And that's what they said. But the politicians are going to try to tell you something else. It's worth noting that Fitch, back in August, well, they said the same thing, kind of. The repeated debt limit political standoffs and last-minute resolutions have eroded confidence in fiscal management. It isn't that the economy isn't where it's supposed to be. It's that politicians would like to see the economy go bad because it helps them politically. That's really what it boils down to. They want the economy to tank, so you'll blame Biden. It's kind of that simple. It's worth remembering that this is coming at a time when the U.S. still doesn't have a budget. In fact, from what I understand, today when you're watching this, the Republicans in the House are going to try to put out another continuing resolution, a short-term funding thing, because they still don't have it worked out amongst themselves. So they're going to try to put out another short-term thing, kick the can down the road a little bit further. That's part of the problem. And it's worth noting it's supposed to be announced tomorrow, but they're not 100% sure because they don't even know if they can agree on that. The Republican Party is damaging the nation's economy because they can't decide what their party stands for anymore. They can't come together and come to a consensus within their own party. And it's worth remembering that it still would have to go through the Senate and Biden. So the discussions that they're having, a lot of them are moot, because even if the far-right authoritarian Republicans were to win the conversation, and that's what goes into the budget, it wouldn't get through the Senate because it's bad for the country. But make no mistake about it, if you were to watch Fox or any of the right-leaning outlets, that's not what you're going to hear. Even though it's actually, they wrote it out. They've been saying what the issue is since August. They've been talking about it. The thing is that in the short term, this type of stuff doesn't really matter to the average person in the short term. It's a lot like the stock market. We use the stock market as an overall indicator of economic health, but for the average person, it doesn't matter. Not Not initially. But as it goes bad and goes from bad to worse, then it does start impacting the average person. And it certainly, I can't assign the motive of them wanting to do it intentionally. That's what it seems like, but I don't have any evidence of that. But the only way I can explain it is that they are either doing this intentionally to disrupt the U.S. economy because it will help them politically, or they're incapable of the most basic function. Which, realistically, maybe it is that, because, they also couldn't get a speaker. This is one of those things that right now, if it's talked about at all, it'll probably be reported incorrectly, out of context, or it'll be glossed over. But this matters. The discord within the Republican Party is continuing to damage the United States because they are more interested in trending on Twitter than they are in doing their jobs. Anyway, it's just a thought. Y'all have a good day.